Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome to my channel. My name is Sean. I am just your average everyday American. I love Jesus. I love my family. And I want to leave the world a better place. If you've ever been to my channel before, there's not a whole lot here at the moment. I usually talk a lot about theology and about the Bible and about the Christian faith. But one of the things that I've learned over the years is that you can't really talk about the Christian faith or live out the Christian faith in a way that compartmentalizes that faith. You can't be a Christian on Sunday and not be one on Monday. It's just not how it works, right? And you also really can't be a Christian without having a thoroughly Christian worldview. And what I mean by that is not maybe what you've heard. A lot of people think Christian worldview, they think, far right conservative Christians and culture war and things like that. And I'm not talking about that. I'm actually talking about the idea that the Bible, the Christian faith, things, the traditions we've taught over the last 2,000 years in the church filter our beliefs, our views of the world, including in how we conduct business, how we raise our children, our marriages, work, all of those things, right? Entertainment, that kind of thing. And what I've seen is that Christians a lot of times get pulled into tribes that end up causing all kinds of fights and debates and bickering. And I don't really want to do that. And I don't really like doing that. I'm not against debate. I love debating. But what I've seen is that what happens, especially with Christians in politics, is that we choose the side that we think is most aligned with the Bible's teachings, and we 100% dive in, and they can do no wrong. Now, that's a lot of conservatism. They'll go to the right. Progressive Christianity goes to the left, and we just fight each other. But at the end of the day, I think we're both missing the point. You and I both know that our government right now in America, it's not run by the people, and it hasn't been run by the people for a really long time. I want to let that sit for a minute. Our government is run by a group of businesses and leaders and shadowy, weird Klaus Schwab people behind the scenes who dictate policy, lobbyists who come from oil and gas and pharmaceutical companies and all of that, who can pay for things that you and I can't pay for. And at the end of the day, we end up the loser. And what I see and what bothers me the most is that the American people, whether you're Democrat or Republican, left or right, we end up fighting each other when I probably think we agree on most things. Maybe not a few things, but most things I think we probably agree on. We just celebrated America's 250th anniversary. That's huge. Our country has celebrated 250 years of relative growth and peace. We've never been really invaded since the early days of the founding of the republic. We aren't worried about Germany coming over here, or Russia, or even China. They can't do it. We control the seas. But the problem is, it doesn't feel like we're being represented in Washington, let alone in our own state capitol buildings. If you're like me, you look at what you're voting for and what you're getting, and there's a deficit. And I want to talk about this because I get accused a lot of times of being anti-Trump. I'm either liberal to conservatives, or to liberals, I'm a too conservative. And ultimately, at the end of the day, it comes down to, I want what's best for our people, with whether they agree with me politically or not. Thomas Jefferson and John Adams had bitter fights over their beliefs politically. It's okay to disagree politically, even on very important things. But what we used to have is a core belief in the Constitution and the Bill of Rights and the inherent goodness of our country that was built on a Christian foundation that we clung to. And it caused us to have a national creed and a national unity that couldn't separate us when we disagreed. Now we have people whose families are falling apart because one guy voted for Donald Trump and another guy voted for Kamala Harris. And that's totally insane. Because at the end of the day, if you're like me and you go to the gas tank, you're still paying more whether you're Republican or you're Democrat. And if you're in California, you're most certainly paying more. You're in New York, you're most certainly paying more. But I'm just an average, everyday American, just a normal dude. I'm a husband, I'm a dad of 5 kids. And at the end of the day, I just want to make it. I just want to make it. I want to be able to pay off debt. I want to be able to take my wife on a nice date here and there. I just want to be able to give my family a little bit more than I had growing up. But I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know if I can do it. I don't know if I can do it because at the end of the day, this government under this administration is doing everything they said they were not going to do. Now, let me just be clear. I'm not left. I'm not right. I'm not any of that. I'm an American, and I want what's best for America according to the Constitution, to the Bill of Rights. I'm tired of pretending that the guys we send to Washington are actually going to do anything for us. They're not. They're full of crap. And what I have found, and many of you have found, is that you're probably frustrated and you don't know what to do. Let me give you an example. Now, look, a lot of people are going to accuse me of being anti-Trump. You're just anti-Trump. You can't say anything good about Trump. I voted for Donald Trump twice. I didn't vote for him in 2016 because I didn't think I could trust him. I didn't know him. I knew he'd jumped from Democrat to Green Party to Independent to Republican back to Democrat. He was all over the board. So I didn't vote for him. I voted third party. Then in 2020, I was like, you know what? I think he did a good job. The COVID thing, I think he blew it there. But for the most part, he did some good things, and I'm willing to vote for him. So I voted for him in 2020. Now, we're not going to get into all that right now. Matter of fact, last night, Trump talked about the stolen election, blah, blah, blah. We'll deal with that later. Then in 2024, I knew I had either Kamala Harris or Donald Trump. It was the continuance of the Biden administration, or it was hopefully something fresh, something new, something we kind of knew could happen. And we knew had it not been for COVID, probably we were going to see some good days, especially if Trump got back-to-back presidencies. So I voted for Donald Trump. Now, you can disagree with me there. That's okay. Just stay with me for a moment, okay? But if you're like me, you noticed since Trump became president, when he ran on no new wars, prices coming down, we're going to bring jobs home. We're gonna prosecute the pedophiles in the Epstein list, no matter who they are. We haven't gotten that. And let me just give you an example of how devastating that could be for average, everyday Americans. According to the United Way, 50% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. 50%. You and I might be one of those people. Now, for me, I have a big family. Me and my wife, we've been married 22 years. We have 5 kids. I know it's not normal, but that's who we are. That's where we're at. We have 3 vehicles in our car, in our home. My oldest son has a vehicle. Of course, me and my wife. I want to show you in this example how Trump's policies right now, right this moment, are devastating to families. And you might be saying, well, what are you talking about, Sean? Well, when Donald Trump got into office, he explicitly ran on the idea of no new wars. America, in my lifetime, for the most part, has been at war since I was in college. I'm 45 in a few days. Okay? That's 20 plus years. 20 plus years of just endless war because of neocons and Republicans who are totally open to bloodshed abroad, but they'll fight abortion at home. Now, I'm all against abortion, but if we're going to pretend we're pro-life, and at home, we should most certainly be pro-life in foreign affairs. And we should work hard to make sure that we're doing everything necessary not to go to war, not to jump to war. So let me just show you what this looks like. Now, I get accused a lot of railing on Trump, and I can't do anything, he can't do anything right. When Donald Trump ran in 2016, we started to see things go really well. And I noticed it in one of the most important places you probably noticed it was gas prices, which we're going to talk about in just a moment. In 2020, as Trump was essentially just before he left office, the average price where I live was $2.50. I don't know if you can see that. Let me turn this a little bit. $2.50. $2.50. in 2020. Now, I know that gas prices went up under Biden. They went up here to like $3.99, $4, right? On not premium, like average 87, whatever they call it. Right now in my hometown, I'm in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. The average price is around $3.54. Okay? That's $1.04 extra per gallon. Now, Trump remembered. Now, Biden didn't run, I'm going to lower gas prices. So I was like, okay, well, I don't want to vote for that guy because when gas prices go up, I lose money, right? You lose money. So $1.04 extra per gallon. I have a 17 on average 17-gallon tank, right? So 17 gallons. Do that. 17 gallons times $1.04. It's $17.68. You can see that. Hold on, let me bring that a little closer. All right, let's do that right there. 17 gallons to fill up. 17 times $1.04. It's $17.68. Well, guess what? I have 3 vehicles. $17.68 times 3 vehicles, because on average we have about 17-gallon tanks. That's $53.04 extra a week. Okay, $54 or $53.04 times 6, because we probably fill up on average 2 times each a week. 3 vehicles, that's 6 fill-ups. Okay, total 2 fill-ups per week. That's $106.08 extra per week. Well, you take the $106, and 8 cents, and you times that by 52. Hold on, let me get this camera right. I'm trying to learn it. There we go. That's an extra $5,516.16 that now I have to go make more of. That just disappears in the gas tank of oblivion because we decided that we were going to go to war with Iran because someone told us. $5,000 just for my family. Now, granted, that's average. It might be a little bit lower than that. If this goes up, if the $3.54 goes up, that goes up. If it goes down, it goes down a little bit. $5,000 I have to make extra because this is just going nowhere, right? This is just gone. $5,000 that I have to make on top of what I already do to provide for my family. And let me just tell you, Trump talking about how gas prices are going down and grocery prices are going down, they're not going down. I've noticed that the price of beef, if you haven't noticed, if you get those like 10-pound logs, you can get at Walmart or Winn-Dixie or Albertsons or Kroger's or whatever, they're like $50. When I was a kid, my mom was a single mom. We were dirt poor. Okay. We had no money. And we would do the like beef stroganoff box thing. You know what I'm saying? I don't do that for my family. I don't want to do that for my family. What I want to do is cook them good food, healthy food. But you know what? I have to make an extra $5,000, almost $6,000 just to break even now. Because we decided that bombing Iran, who's done nothing to us, well, Sean, no, don't give me what they did in the 70s. I don't care. Well, Sean, if they get the bomb, who cares? Who cares? At the end of the day, this is hurting the average American. Let's just say that it's really only $2,000, right? $2K. $2,000 that you have to make extra to provide for your family. How are you going to do that? Well, if you're a single mom or a single dad, maybe you have to get an extra job. Let me just be honest with you. I have 3 jobs. I have a full-time job. It's an insurance broker that I'm growing, right? Plus, I do landscaping in the evenings about 3 times a week and once on Saturday or on Saturday as well. So 3 to 4 times a week. And then once a month, I deliver magazines. Not because I want to, because I have to. You're like, well, Sean, you got to be making good money. Well, I'm making okay money for a family of 7. But let's talk about this. If I'm making the money I'm making, do you know that since COVID, I have to make 25% more because inflation has actually gone up that much? I saw this and I don't remember where. I'll have to look it up. But if you were getting paid $100,000 in 2020, that was your salary, to make that lifestyle, not the same amount, to have the same lifestyle that if you made 100,000 in 2020, you have to make 125K. Oops, I did that completely backwards. 25K, and this was in 2025. So in 5 years, you have to get an increase of $25,000 to maintain the lifestyle that you had in 2020. Have you gotten a raise that much? Have you? I haven't. Now people are like, well, it was COVID, Sean, and no. Do you know what it was? There's a couple of things. One, it was the out of control printing of money. Money. Because the Federal Reserve under Donald Trump, I mean, I want to say we're trillions of dollars, trillions. It's unbelievable how much money in the last 6 years we have printed. Do you know what that does to your dollar? And look, I'm not an economist. I'm just a dad and a husband who wants to provide for my family. And this government and the establishment elite make it incredibly difficult. And here's the problem. The more difficult they make it, the more frustrated people are going to be. And the more frustrated the population becomes, the more agitated they become, the more likely the rebellion is possible. Now, I'm not telling you to go rebel or be a rebel. I'm not telling you to cause violence. That is not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that they feed off of our inability to do anything about this, because it's not like my guys here in Louisiana, Julie Letlow or Bill Cassidy or Senator Kennedy, are doing anything like that. No, they're not doing anything. They're voting for this crap because they know that they're okay. They get a lifetime salary if they've been in office for 6 years or more. So I'm going to be paying freaking Bill Cassidy's salary, and you are too. Well, at least us in Louisiana are going to be paying his salary until he dies. The guy's a doctor. Does he need 100? I think you get 80% of their salary. He's making 174 grand a year being a senator or whatever. But now I have to pay for it. And now I have to pay for his stupid healthcare. He's a doctor. I'm just an insurance guy trying to make it. So I don't know if you're frustrated like I am, but I'm pretty frustrated. This government has printed so much money that it's unbelievable. I can't even, there's other guys that I'll link to who explain this so much more than me on Instagram and stuff like that. Bobby Sauce is really good at this. If you don't know Bobby Sauce, you need to look him up. He's freaking awesome. But this is unbelievable. So what happens when the government creates a bunch of extra money? Well, you know what they do? And look, there are guys who do this better than I am, so I'm just saying. The purchasing power of your dollar goes down. So when I was a kid, I remember when my mom, we're dirt poor, but I remember a $40, $50 at the grocery store was like a full cart, right? So what used to cost, let's say $100 in 2020, now costs 125. Let's use the previous example in 2026. Now do that with everything you buy. Do that with groceries, everything you buy. Do that with, I don't know, coffee. Do that with whatever. I know they're saying inflation's so low that it's unbelievable. It's never been this low. We're winning. We're not winning. Me and you, we're not winning. We're losing. The purchasing power of our dollar is going down, and it's not getting better. Why? Because they're printing more money, and they're going to keep printing money. Why? Because that's the only thing they can do to prop this mess up. That's it. And the moment they stop printing money, the moment that it gets to the point where the people are like, if you print one more dollar, we're going to burn the whole system down, the whole house of cards comes crashing down. And we are dangerously close to that. Dangerously close. The reason we are going to war is because war produces income for the state. It's a racket, but that's what they're doing. The reason we keep winning and not winning this war and the strait's open, the strait's not open, because they need because the economy sucks. And you know it, and I know it, because we can see it when we go to the grocery store. You can see it when you go to Starbucks and get your $6 latte is now $7.25. When you go to McDonald's, when I was a kid, when I was a teenager, I could get a Big Mac meal, supersized, because that's when it came out, for like $5. Maybe, it wasn't 6. It might have been, but it wasn't more than 6. Now, it's like $12 for a crappy Big Mac. Guys, that's nuts. Why? They're printing money. And I hate to break it to you, but Trump is doing that just as much as Biden, just as much as Obama, and just as much as Bush. And really, Trump has done more of it. Trump has done way more of it. It's unbelievable. So let me ask you this. If you have to go out and make an extra $5,000 this year to break even, how are you going to do that? How are you going to do that? I'm not trying to discourage you. What I'm trying to say is that all of these little fights that they got us in, if you don't like them because they're black, or you don't like them because they're conservative, or they're straight, or he's gay, or whatever. And look, I have thoughts on all of that. But that's what's killing us. Because they know if they can make you work harder, you don't have the time to pay attention to what they're doing. And what they're doing is diddling kids. What they're doing is stealing the wealth of the generations after us. What they're doing is killing people in other countries. Did you know this? Since America began the war on terror in 2001, ready for this? I want to wipe this down because I want you to see this number. Since 2001, all right? Welcome to our homeschool thing too. All right, since 2001, American military action in war has killed, ready for this? I'm going to put it big, 4.5 million people. 4.5 million people have been killed by America in the last 26 years. 4.5 million. That's a lot. 4.5 million. Your ability to pay for your family has gone down. Are you more free? No. You ever heard of flock cameras? You've seen the surveillance state that they're putting in? Sean, you're a conspiracy theorist. Except every time I tell you this, every time I've talked about it, when I said in 2002 or 2003, reading the Patriot Act, and I said, they're going to read our emails if they're not already doing it. They're going to be listening to our phones. Look, all of that. You are a domestic terrorist if you disagree with this government on some things. And a domestic terrorist, according to the National Defense Authorization Act, means that they can detain you indefinitely, suspend your constitutional rights, and do whatever they want with you. Is that freedom? Is having to work 3 jobs freedom? Is not being able to buy a home when you're 28 freedom? Our founders would not put up with this. So, my friends, I've just ranted for 23 minutes. I'm not trying to be a punk. I'm a dad who has 5 kids, who wants to leave this country in a better place than it is right now, and than it is when I inherited it. Because what was given to us, it's absolute garbage. But I believe in America. And I don't mean the government. I mean the principles of America, the ideas that made America great, right? I'm not talking about make America great again. We're already great. Look at all of the people who've come here from all over the world for the World Cup and see how much they love this place. Our food, our culture, our people. You are good people. One of my favorite jobs I ever had was knocking on doors. It's not an easy job. Don't get me wrong. It's not always fun. And a lot of times it's kind of dangerous. But I used to be able to knock on doors. And here's what I learned. Right now in America, because of Barack Obama, because of stupid education, because nobody actually reads history, because we don't really know history, because our history books are jacked up, I would knock on doors in different communities, Spanish communities, white communities, black communities. And you know what I found? People are good. I didn't know who was a Democrat or Republican. I didn't know who was straight or gay. I didn't care. But when I was hot in the middle of July, knocking on a door, you know what people would say? Hey man, you want a water? Hey, come in. It's hot out here. Take a sec, right? Hey, you want to try some of these ribs? Hey, you need a plate to go? We are good people. America is a great place. It's a beautiful country. And I, for one, am going to stick up for it. And I'm not talking about sticking up for this government. I'll tell you about my experience with this government and these goofballs who run it. But I believe in you, the mom out there busting her behind to provide for her kids, the dad who's working 3 jobs, who's like, I don't even know I'm not even going to be able to wake up tomorrow. Your body hurts. The family who's trying to figure out how they're going to make ends meet. Let me just tell you this. I know everyone pretends that America is not a Christian country, but not only am I going to talk about that, but I'm going to show you that we've forgotten our history. We've forgotten the amazing things that took place in our country over the last 250 and 400 years. And I know the first thing people are going to do is they're going to jump to all the bad things we've done, the sins we've committed. We've done that. I know my own sins. I know my nation's sins. I repent of my sins. We should repent of our sins. Okay? I get it. But if you're like me and you're frustrated with a bunch of goofballs who go up to Washington and he's a doctor, and then when they come out, they're multimillionaires because they're up there insider trading and they're getting all the good deals, and you and I do that, we go to prison? No. We need something better. We need unity. And over the course of however long this channel lasts, I hope you'll tune in. But at the end of the day, this is what matters. This and what I said earlier in this video, according to the United Way, and I'll find it and link it in the notes below, 50% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. 50%. And I'm not talking about the poor black people, the Hispanic people, those poor, white folks in the trailers. I'm not talking about those guys. They're below the poverty line. The ones you think are poor, they're poor. But the ones who are middle class Americans, because the middle class is disappearing faster than I don't know. But this is what's killing us. Because your purchasing power is going down. They're creating more debt. And at the end of the day, it's going to be more expensive for you to do anything because they're waging illegal wars. They're printing money. They're doing everything our founders would have shot them for. That's probably going to get me kicked off of YouTube. So at the end of the day, welcome to my channel. Do I think Trump's policies are hurting Americans, everyday Americans? Yeah, I do. Just like Biden's, just like Obama's, just like Bush's were. We're going to talk about a lot of crap. We're going to talk a lot about this. I'm going to tell you people you probably need to listen to more than listen to me because they're awesome. Bobby Sauce is one of them. At the end of the day, we've got to figure this out because I know, like my family, you're one bad day away from bankruptcy. You're one bad day away from losing everything. You're one bad day away from homelessness. Now, luckily for me, we're not that. We're not one day away from homelessness, one bad day. We have family that cares. But here's the deal. There are a lot of you who don't have family. Maybe you live too far away, or maybe because of the way politics has gone, we've broken everything up. That's intentional. This government, the spirit behind it is intentionally trying to destroy our communities, our families, our people. If you're an American, you're an American. It's okay to like that. It's okay to be proud to be an American. And I'm not talking like Lee Greenwood or anything like that, which is a good song. I'm not going to lie. It's kind of a cool song. But I'm saying it's okay to be like, oh, yeah, we've done some pretty freaking cool stuff. Yeah. Thomas Jefferson was 33 years old when he wrote the Declaration of Independence. And let me just tell you, at 33, I wasn't writing that. So my friends, if you're frustrated, stay tuned. We're going to talk about a lot of things. So I hope you'll join me. If you have questions, if you want me to address topics, you want me to research something, drop it in the comments below. And I'm not saying I'm right. I'm just saying I know, like you might be frustrated. And if we talk about these things instead of letting the media tell us to be mad at each other, maybe we can figure them out together. And maybe we can take back our House. Maybe we can take back our Senate. Maybe we can take back our state capitals. Maybe we can take back from all of these goofy people who are using their power to enrich themselves and they're taking from us. Your tax dollars are killing people. Your tax dollars are funding insider trading. Your tax dollars help fund Jeffrey Epstein's little island. Your tax dollars, are you happy where they're going? Because I'm not. They're going to every foreign country but here. They're going everywhere. Israel, Japan, whoever. If you're frustrated with that, we should probably connect and be friends. I don't care if you're a Democrat. We could talk about that. I love talking to Democrats. Because at the end of the day, I'm not a Democrat. I'm not a Republican. I'm sick of their crap. As my friend Craig tells me, Sean, you just need to talk to people. You just need to go out there and, because you know what I want to do? I want to burn the whole thing down. I think the American founders were on to something. When a government betrays its duty, it is our duty to alter or replace it. That's all I'm saying. Guys, thank you for taking the time to watch this video of a guy ranting. I hope it meant something. If it does, tell me. If it doesn't, if you think I'm crazy, that's cool. I get that all the time. I don't care. I'll try to get a better camera. Hopefully I will. I'm trying to figure this whole thing out. I'm not doing it from my phone, doing it from my computer. Maybe I'll do it from my phone next time. $5,000, what I have to make extra this year just to break even. $5,000 extra on top of what I already have. That's just in gas. That should piss you off because it pisses me off. Take care, friends.